Well, welcome, Brooksy, to the Australian Indie Wrestling Podcast. Thanks for coming on after your televised matches and everything. It's great to have you on.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for reaching out. Thanks for having me. Let's talk some wrestling, dude.
Yeah, man. Well, in particular on our channel, people have been talking TV wrestling for the past, few weeks. Everyone's talking about they're getting broadcast rights in Australia, this, that, and the others going on behind the scenes. But we thought we'd talk to you because you actually live it, man. You're actually in the big leagues. What people like to call the big leagues. You've been on Crown Jewel. You've been invited as a guest coach to WWE NXT. And just recently, you're on the TNA Wrestling.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'd really class Crown Jewel as television. It was just kind of hanging out and go do this and we'll film you briefly.
I just want to get a few questions. I think better understanding of what you've been doing over there and stuff like that. What have you been doing over there? What's been your day to day and stuff?
Well, dude, I wake up, I go to the gym, and then I spend the day just prepping meals and eating and just sort of hanging out. But then, when I'm traveling and stuff, I'm doing all of that as well as traveling and trying to find gyms and just trying to make it work. Just being a pro wrestler, living the pro wrestler life, The first few weeks being here, I was hitting it hard, man. My travel was pretty mental, I got here on Wednesday, the 8th of April. Then 2 days later, I'm driving about 3.5 hours to Portland to wrestle there on the Friday night. And then Sunday, I'm flying to Syracuse, New York to do the TNA stuff. So I was in Syracuse for Sunday till Thursday. Then fly to Vegas on Thursday, wrestle there Thursday night, then fly back to Seattle. I wrestled in Seattle the Saturday night. And then the following day, flew to Orlando to spend the week in Orlando for the week to do the guest coaching stuff with NXT. Mm-hmm. And yeah, now I'm just hanging out in Seattle. I've got two more weeks to just sort of chill out a little bit. So yeah, I've got one more week here, 2 more indie bookings later on this week, and then yeah, back home. But all that early flying, I think it's finally got to me because I'm sick as fuck. So I'm hoping this week I can nip this crookness in the butt, and I'll be sweet and 100% to wrestle on the weekend.
Just sweat that shit out. Sweat it out. Yeah.
I'm in the sauna every day. I'm having all these vitamins every day when I wake up. My housemate here, she's made this concoction of all these vitamins and vitamin C drinks and immune syrups and just doing what we can. But yeah, this weekend, what are we doing? We are in Portland, Oregon on Saturday night, and then Vancouver, Canada Sunday night, and then the journey home begins on Monday night.
Yeah, awesome.
So Seattle's like a nice little hub. It's got quite a few spots you can get out to without it being ridiculous. And obviously there's still longer flight stuff like, Syracuse and Orlando and stuff. They're still long distance, but will you find in Seattle there's a good scene where you can get around and do some cool stuff?
Yeah, man. I'm very lucky that the people that let me live with them, I have a car. Go take the car, go to the gym, do what you got to do, go to, the grocery store. Yeah. Just do what you need to do. So I'm very lucky, and because Seattle's, it's only it's like a 3-hour flight to LA. Mm-hmm. Journey home. It's not like I'm on the east coast of say Florida or something where it's 6-hour flight to LA and then another 13-14 hour flight back to Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm very lucky that I've got a really good base here. Mm-hmm. The people here look after me. I've got a wrestling school, and yeah, I've built up a bit of a name on the Pacific Northwest area. To Brooksy's in town. All right, let's book him while he's here.
Oh, magic.
Well, yeah, as we're coming from the Aussie scene to like your televised environment and the American Indian environment? Would you say there's like a culture shock in terms of like how you carry yourself and that differently, or is it more because you've always been pretty professional, Brooksy, compared to everyone else? Like.
I mean, not really. I think professionalism is all common sense, really. Like, this is professional wrestling.
Yep.
Look, be a professional wrestler. Be professional to everyone. Say hello to everyone. Greet everyone. Be nice to everyone. Say good day to everyone. It's kind of just common sense, really.
Just don't be a dick. Like, that's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
standard.
Pretty self-explanatory, dude. Yeah.
So what did the NXT guest coaching involve?
It was a lot of just shadowing and taking notes and just learning how they do things.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm going to jump in there and talk over Fit Finley and be like, oh, no, Fit, this is what's going down. No, I'm not. No. Again, common sense. Just take your notes, ask. It was a lot of me asking questions. Okay, Fit, or okay, Robbie Brookside, why do you teach them this way, or why do you explain this to them, or why do you not like this?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you feel you should take off your ring jacket as soon as you get in the ring? Mm-hmm. Just small stuff like that, man.
Yeah.
So just a lot of shadowing and taking notes, and then the television side of NXT, very intricate, very detailed, very timed out, a lot of walking through it with a timer, because these dudes are on television, and television, it's all time.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this is the plan. Let's walk through it. Let's time it to see if we can get a rough, pretty good estimate of how long this potential segment is going to go.
Yeah.
And then I was helping shadow and produce the Delta and Sol Ruka match that they did.
Yeah.
And just watching them like go over that final spot with the table, the placement, and then okay, land here, and then there's crash pads, and while they're up on the balcony gimmick fighting, they're like, nah, can we use this camera view? Oh, nah, I don't like that. What about this camera view? Oh, nah, can you pop up at this moment so that we get this shot with the camera? It's all very intricate, and just having the headset on and listening to all these cameramen, producers, and Matt Bloom and Shawn Michaels and all this explain how they want this shot. It was very interesting.
It's awesome to hear that's you've literally seen how that works, because the amount of people that think, oh, you just do it, you know what I mean, and there's so much behind it to make it. It's critical for the final product, because they need it to look a certain way so that it comes out a very specific way, whereas people are like, oh, no, I should be, in general, like the comparison between, obviously indie wrestling is very different to television wrestling, but to understand for a lot of people that there is so many intricate parts that go through with it, and then the whole idea in general is like, oh, just call it out there, and it just doesn't happen.
No, exactly. And then coming from MCW, where we're very strict with our segment times, and then obviously our production team, it's like, right, let the cameraman know if you've got a certain thing that you want filmed a certain way, or Brooksy, we're gonna film your entrance the usual way, dude. Like, yeah, man, yeah, do your thing, film it, do your thing, usual stuff. So MCW is very similar, but just seeing it done on like, you know, a WWE level,
Yeah.
Dude, it was very, very interesting.
Mm.
But then also, you know, shadowing NXT TV, but then going and doing it at the house show is completely different because it's a house show. It's not televised.
Yep, yep.
You know, and it's just like seeing these, I guess, athletes who have, you know, they haven't spent a lot of time in pro wrestling, seeing them adapt from the TV side of things to the house show pro wrestling environment was very, very interesting. And it was like, I overheard Fit Finlay giving advice to one of the female matches that I helped produce and agent and put together. After the match, one of the girls did a promo, and she's doing this promo, and she's doing it into the camera, doing it into the hard camera, which, you know, you think is the stock standard thing, but that's for television. For the house show, he was like, no, if you're doing this promo, you're saying it to the people.
Yeah.
Explain your promo to the people, not the hard camera. The cameras are for television. This is for you to, you know, get used to the intimate house show environment, you know?
Yeah.
Which I found that very interesting. And, like, I understood what he was saying. And then, you know, I went back and I was like, geez, I hope when I do, like, in-ring stuff at MCW, I'm like, I'm talking to the people. And I went back and watched one of my latest promos and I was like, okay, good. No, I'm walking around and I'm talking to the people, you know, in that live environment. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, dude.
That's
over here, sort of like, yeah, as you say, more intimate, walking around. If promoters themselves should be changing their camera and lighting setups based on what you saw, or over at like maybe the NXT house shows, do you think that would be more appropriate to promote the shows?
Well, yeah, dude, I think production is a big thing. Like, if you're, say, a wrestling fan, or you've never been to pro wrestling before, and you walk into this venue, me personally, I want to walk in and go, oh, look, all right, there's the ring, and oh, man, there's a cool entranceway. You know, we've got the screen, we've got the trussels, we've got, you know, like, that's, I feel that's one of the, I don't want to say negative, but one of the beneficial factors back home. I feel even some of, say, the smaller promotions back home, majority of them all have quite good production, whether it's an entranceway, whether it's a screen.
Yeah.
You know, like, dude, look at PWG, for example. PWG had some of the best wrestlers in the world go through that place.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Reseda was a shithole, and it was just a black curtain.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. I truly do feel that back home, majority of the production is pretty good. Is pretty good.
Yeah, you want people to rock up and be excited and like amazed, if that makes sense. You set that level of, oh wait, this is actually like a really well done production. So when the people come out, it already gives them the expectation of this is fucking dope. Instead of just like, oh okay, well I guess I'm here, and then you lower that expectation, and then when the wrestlers go, PWG's different story. When the wrestlers come out, they're fantastic, amazing. They have some of the best in the world. Whereas when you, in Australia, if you have some guys, like I say, we have a lot of good talent, but any of the guys who are sort of lower end, they're already on that pedestal, so it elevates the show, which I think is, a really good thing we have in here in Australia.
Yeah, I totally agree. And then, and then, as well as the production, that's when the guys need to take it seriously, because I don't want to ramble and I don't want to rant, but it frustrates me when, you know, we've got good production and, you know, whatever, and then out walks this out of shape, garbage, pale,
Bad gear.
skinny,
Yep.
Yeah.
bad gear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Professional wrestling, fellas. That's what it's called. It's professional wrestling. Let's look like professionals, man.
Yes.
So saying that, Brooksy, do you reckon Australian wrestling is viable on like local terrestrial television, or it's what would it take from one of the 60 companies that inhabit Australia? Or do you think YouTube's the platform to just stay on at the moment?
We need a billionaire with some money.
Yeah,
Trying to slip
Okay,
in
well,
Gina Reinhardt's DMs,
yeah.
Look, dude, I've had this conversation with others before. The talent's there, the talent's there. We just need someone with the connections. We need someone with the money.
Mm-hmm.
We need someone that's kind of got a clue
Yeah.
about this stuff.
There's been similar, but they just haven't meshed. Someone's got money but no clue, or someone's got a clue but no money.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about those non-compete contracts going around, Brooksy? Would you ever sign one of those exclusive contracts going around?
Give me $750K a year and let me still do MCW and we'll talk.
Oh, there you go. Those are pretty good. Those are pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's a sweet deal on both ends, I guess.
Yeah, those are a nice deal. So that's pretty sweet. So talking of MCW, you got high stakes, champion versus champion, Robbie Thorpe versus Adam Brooks, heavyweight champion versus Intercommonwealth champion, and you've been defending this all over the world, should we say?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I go to MCW, sometimes the Intercommonwealth feels bigger than the heavyweight title. Is that by design, or?
Look, I don't know if that's the company is doing that, but it's certainly my goal. Belts and championships, dude, they're props. They're all bullshit. But that belt, early on in my career, I had a bit of a chip on my shoulder. I was like, I was young at the time, and I'm like, I should be, this spot on the card, but they were doing other things, which, whatever, that's wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
But then they put me in that division with the Intercommonwealth title at the time, and it was this new belt, and we did this big story with my former tag team partner, and the stuff I did with Osprey for that belt, and so that belt, it's got a slight little bit of meaning to me. So the fact that I've got this opportunity to run with this belt again, I want people to sit there and go, man, whenever Brooksy's defending that belt, he's putting on the best performances of the show. And I feel that I have been doing that for a year or so now that I've had that belt. So me personally, I want people to be like, Brooks, when Brooksy's got that belt is another level. It gets Adam to another level. So, yeah.
And any reason a match of this magnitude is at the Thornbury Theatre and not the Melbourne Pavilion at Ballroom Brawl? That's.
I mean, I don't run the show, dude.
Nah, it just seems like a massive match. I'm going to get down to the Thornbury Theatre on the 23rd of May and definitely check it out. I can't wait. And then Ballroom Brawl is on June 27th at Melbourne Pavilion. Brooksy, can we talk about your TNA match before we go?
Of course.
Do you have time? Awesome. Well, how did that all come about? And was that sort of, I saw it play out online, but sort of how did it come about?
I've been very fortunate that the good sister, Indy Hartwell, she got me in touch with talent relations at TNA months ago. And I pretty much just sent them some stuff. And I said, right, I'm going to be in New Mexico in January for your tapings. If there's an opportunity, I'll be there. I would love to, be a part of the show. So, again, be a professional. show up,
Yep.
shake hands, help out. And I'm very lucky that I've built a name for myself that I know a lot of the people there. So everyone, oh, Brooksy, what's up? You know, and a lot of people are vouching for me. And so, yeah, back in January, I was very lucky that they used me on Explosion and an episode of Impact. And then, yeah, they were extremely happy, and they said, you know, keep in touch. You killed it. So then again, I said, hey, I'm back in the States. I'm going to make my way to Syracuse, New York. If there's an opportunity, guys, I'll be there. And again, the relationship that I built with Mustafa Ali from when we wrestled at the Thornbury Theatre years ago, he was impressed, and he's a good dude. And, you know, he said, hey, Brooks is in town. He's Australian. We're doing this thing, you know, with the international title.
Yep.
And he really pushed hard to make that happen.
Awesome.
That's amazing.
And
Yeah.
again, very positive. Everything very positive. But, you know, you get to the back, very positive. Dreamer, the president, Carlos Silva.
Yep.
Everything I'm seeing online, very positive. So, yeah, I'm just continuing to do my thing. That's all I can do, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great match. And like, you were the first challenger, weren't you? International challenger.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing in itself. That's something to hang your hat on for sure. Like, it's almost like they knew you were coming, so started something up. And
yeah, no, it was awesome. Yeah, it was really cool experience, incredible locker room, and everyone's just so cool. And it's just, you know, it's very cool to you know, even just to share a locker room with your idol, the guy that made you take this crazy journey in life, is just wild. You know, like just hanging out with Jeff and talking about ice baths and stuff, like showing him my ice bath. Oh, bro, look, I'm an ice bather as well. And that's so cool, man. You know, like,
no, that's so cool. Like, yeah, backstage
that's
with
awesome.
like you say, your hero of wrestling. It's just like a bucket list moment that most people would never get the opportunity to have. So that's so cool. Yeah.
Super grateful.
Back in Melbourne for your match, title versus title. Regardless of the outcome of that, is it still going to be much more to and from the States for you, or are you looking to go anywhere else? Like, what's the plans for the future for Brooksy?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got this US visa, so I'm going to just make the most of that until that expires. So, yeah, you know, depending on funds and opportunities and stuff,
yep.
I plan to just continue bouncing back and forth until that visa expires or until someone decides to keep me here permanently.
Fingers crossed. I mean, we don't want to lose you, but, like, that's the dream, you know?
Yeah, like, I'm very loyal to MCW, so it's like, all right, MCW usually run every, 6 weeks or so. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, I've got a chunk between MCW shows.
Yeah.
TNA are doing TV here, or, you know, AEW are doing TV here. All right, let's try getting contact. Let's try get there. Let's try show up on TV. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm not necessarily coming over here to work the indies. I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'll come here, I'll hang out with my friends, do some indies here and there, get some money and stuff, sure.
Yeah.
But I'm here to continue to try build my name on television.
Yes.
Because I feel that's the next goal for me.
Yes.
Is television. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's that next step up. You've been around the indies for a long time, Australia, everywhere you've been. So now it's that next level up, which is the only way to go, is up. So very cool. It's
a challenge. Yeah. Like, it's a whole new challenge, because back home, you know, on the indies, it's like, all right, Adam, just go out there, do your thing, 20 minutes, do whatever you want. 15, 20 minutes, do whatever you want, you know? Whereas here, it's like, all right, you've got 11-minute segment. Yep. And that's with entrances, that's with the post-match stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, me and Ali, I think we only went about 6 minutes in the ring.
Yeah.
That's about that.
To make up for, you know, the entrances and then the post-match stuff. So, like, that's where I'm at. I love the learning of stuff like that. And, like, even having to do that at MCW now, you know, there's been numerous occasions where I've been out there and I've been working with a young fella, and I know that we're pushing it for time, and it's like, all right, dude, fuck this, we've got to cut this shit out.
Yeah.
You know, I feel very comfortable now doing that.
Yeah.
Even with the TNA stuff. All right, brother, cut this shit because it's the time.
Yep.
Sweet, cool,
Yep.
easy.
That's like you say, when people are like, oh yeah, just go out and do your thing. I dislike that when I'm wrestling, because I'm like, no, what do you need? What is going forward for the show? What do you want from this guy? Like, is he going on to do anything, or is he just sort of fodder for whatever you've got me doing? I personally much prefer when they're like, we need this point, you've got this much time, and that way you're like, all right, I've got a structure that I can work with, which is very cool to hear that that's the way it all happens. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cool when they're just like, yeah, do your thing. Then you can sort of do a little bit more. But me personally, I always prefer just that little bit of structure, so I know where we're going. Makes things make more sense. Unless it's just an exhibition where it doesn't matter. You're just sort of pulling out whatever. So that's really cool. That's the next level as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely, dude. And it's like, I was trying to explain to this young fella that I worked with recently, like, we had to cut some stuff out, and he felt bad because, I felt like I didn't give it my all because we had to cut some stuff out. It's like, bro, the crowd was still super into it. We were safe. They didn't know you were supposed to do your fucking frog splash or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's so funny where they're like, oh, but I didn't get to do this. And it's like, but nobody knows that. Like, we still told the story. You still got over. Like, they were loving your shit. Like, what you did do. Nobody knows that you missed that. And then they're like kicking their own ass because they didn't hit something. It's like, it's fine, man. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I get it. Like, we've all been young in this shit before, so I get it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks heaps, Brooksy. We can't wait to see you back on Australian soil after, of course, your massive USA run. And that's going to be at high stakes. Of course, MCW champion Robbie Thorpe versus the Intercommonwealth champion Adam Brooks is on the 23rd of May. The champ at Thornbury Theatre. I think there's limited seats left. But of course, Ballroom Brawl is June 27th, Melbourne Pavilion. Let's get your tickets now. And Brooksy will be available at both.
I'll be there, fellas. I'll be there.
Yeah. Thanks heaps, Brooksy, for coming on and sharing what you've been up to overseas, because you've had quite the month.
Yeah,
already.
Dude, I've been a busy boy. I'm looking forward to getting home and just chilling out for a week. Well, I got 1 weekend off, and then boom, we're straight back into it, dude. So love it.
Yeah, amazing. Well, if this is the start of it, like, I can't wait to see where you get to.
Yeah, man. No, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me, guys. It was good to catch up and chat, and yeah, man. Hopefully, see you guys soon.
Yeah,
fingers crossed. We're over Perth soon.
Well, I hope so. I miss Perth, dude.
Yeah. Good times.
Legend.